Okay, I'm back. I have my camera propped up precariously. So I said I was going to um do it's a Bjd Addicts prompt basically. I don't remember which number. I'll look it up and put it on here. But this is my BJD's story. All of my dolls except Yumi so far. Yumi doesn't really fit in this story. She's pretty much a impulse doll. I got her. And she's really sweet and cute and I absolutely love her. But she doesn't really fit in my story. And also I have like another story branching off of this whole collective story. So without further ado, my story is about mostly Emmeline. Emmeline is from Earth as far as she knows. She's one of those quiet girls in school, but somehow she manages to be friends with one of the most loud, popular girls or whatever. And she goes, it all starts with her when she goes to, because she's in high school and she's like 16, and things start weirdly happening after she goes to this nightclub because her friends wanted to go dancing and they heard this nightclub was really popular because everybody dresses up like fairies or monsters or magical creatures at this nightclub. And it's called the Underground, and it's owned by Audric, who I do not have that doll yet, but I am currently thinking about getting him soon. But when she's at this nightclub with her fake ID and her friends, because she got pressured into it because they said she was a boring little bookworm. Thus, the cute little class says. So she's a boring little bookworm, and she doesn't want to be that. She wants to be exciting and cool, because her friends are pretty much peer pressuring her to do that. So she goes with them to that nightclub. Well, at the nightclub, she's kind of claustrophobic a little bit, and so she starts freaking out a little bit, so she decides, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and her friends were too busy dancing and having fun to give much notice to her disappearance. But when she's in the bathroom, she hears a commotion when she's in the bathroom stall, and then she hears loud bangs. Well, when she comes out of the stall, there's a person dead on the floor, and standing over that person is Penryn, who is a vampiric assassin. She's got 2 different colored eyes and a really cool wolf tattoo. And Penryn is a half vampire, thus the yellow and the blue eyes. She is an assassin, and she is hired. She's very chaotic neutral. She does her own thing, and she does it for the right price. And so people hire her to, especially the Fae Council hires her to get rid of any bad Fae that might be exposing themselves to the human world or some such like that. So that's what she does. And when Penryn notices her, Penryn knocks Emmeline out and takes her to Audric. Well, when Emmeline gets there, Audric asks if she was okay, and Emmeline starts freaking out because Penryn's there, and she's like, "Oh my God, she killed someone and then she hit me." And Penryn goes, "Oh no, you slipped and you hit your head." That kind of jazz. And so that's that, and then Audric takes it upon himself, being the noble gentleman that he is, and takes home. Takes Emmeline home because, you know, her head hurts, and so he takes her home, and her family kind of freaks out because she kind of told them she was studying at her friend's house, and clearly she was not. So, after that, she's grounded, of course, and then the next several days later, weird things start happening, like, very kind of Harry Potter type things, like, she can move things with her mind, or she can wish something to happen, and it will happen. Just bizarre things, and she can't figure out what's going on with her. So she goes back to the nightclub to Audric, and she finds out that him touching her has awoken her magical powers. So he starts to explain her the world of the underground, or the fantasy realm, or the realm of the Fae, and she thinks he's absolutely fucking nuts, of course. And then he takes her down a long staircase, obviously, to this giant, what looks like a vault, and he asks them to open it, and it's a portal. And he takes her through the portal to the Fae world, and that's about as far as I got. At least on that part of the story. Well, when they're in the Fae world, mostly, she's going to figure out that her parents aren't actually her parents, and they kidnapped her, and her parents are a long line of Fae hunters, or catchers of magical beings, and they try to make a profit off of them or kill them because they don't like magic and they think magic is evil. And so they kidnapped her and had been holding her basically ransom for years. And she's actually secretly the princess of the magical kingdom. So, poor Emmeline. She doesn't know what's gonna hit her. Then she's gonna run into trouble eventually, because not only are the humans, the hunters, after her to kidnap her or destroy the magical realm, but they're very dangerous fantasy creatures that would love more than nothing to see the underground portal just opened up so that they can go out into the human world and cause lots of chaos and fun times. So while the hunters are chasing them, there is a evil that is trying to take hold in the fantasy world and basically, I don't know, cause lots of problems. So there's that part of the story. Eventually Emmeline does and Audric run into some problems, and that's where my little tinkerling folk come in, and Briella and Sebastian. So Fae folk can travel through the portal at will if they really wish. They just have to wear disguises and hide their true selves. So, Briella is a fawn, and she happens to live in the human world, actually. She takes care of a forest in a mountain. Not sure which mountains yet. I'm guessing somewhere in the Rockies. But she takes care of the creatures and a forest in the Rocky Mountains. And one day when she's going through her stuff, or going through her mountain keep and making sure all is well, she runs into a young boy and his family. Sebi is a young boy. He and his family were driving in the mountains, and they lost control of their car and crashed. His family did not survive. He's the only one who survived, and he was very close to death. So Briella took Sebi to this little guy right here, in the Tinkerlings, Tinkerlings are very similar to leprechauns, and often they get treated like leprechauns. They're called the elves. They're the elves who, in the story, the cobbler and the shoes, that's what they are. Tinkerbell is based off of a Tinkerling. People just made her a fairy, and they're very angry about it. So, I'm not sure about his name yet still, but he's my Tinkerling guy, and he ended up saving Sebi. Tinkerlings are magic, and they can make magic to technology and bring magic to technology. So, what they did was they saved Sebi's life, and in return, Sebi is now essentially a cyborg. They also marked him with this face tattoo, which means lost child, because Sebastian is now forever a lost child. Lost to the human world, lost to the fantasy world. He is basically stuck in the in-between, knowing everything in the world of fantasy and knowing everything in the world of reality. He is, he can go between worlds, just like everybody else, but he doesn't get treated very well, from both sides. So when Audric and Emmeline are in the fantasy world, it's because they run into this little group here of Briella, my little Tinkerling guy, and Sebastian, when they're running from the evil, which I don't know if I'm going to make like a sorcerer or somebody trying to destroy the portal or whatever. But they run into that group because Briella and obviously the little Tinkerling guy have just got done saving Sebastian, and Sebastian is still trying to cope with the loss of his family and loss of his world, essentially. So that's my story so far. I have a lot of dolls that I want to shell out for this story, and I still have to continue writing and brainstorming and having ideas, and I have a lot more stuff, ideas planned and stuff, but my dolls are stuck in fantasy and reality, so there'll be lots of fantasy characters and some real characters, because I do need real characters too. So I'm currently looking at either getting more little tinkerlings. I do need to get an Audric for Emmeline, because Audric will eventually turn into Emmeline's love interest. Even though he's like technically hundreds of years old. Oops. I need to finish getting Penryn more weapons so she can actually hold weapons and have weapons. But so far that's my story. My dolls are definitely inspire me to write more and be more creative. So we'll see what happens. I do really want to get another real Pookie. I'll probably end up getting real Pookie TT or a So-So or something like that when I get the money. But right now, money's not gonna happen because I have to take animals to the vet and all sorts of other bills. So, for right now, this is my doll family, and that's basically my doll's family story right now. I'm sure it'll change, and it's always open to change, so I will talk to you guys later in the next video. Sorry it was so long.